How you handle your lawn care impacts our water and air. In 1 hour, a gas-powered mower produces the same amount of pollution as a car driven 100 miles. Gas-powered lawn equipment harms our air. And yard waste down storm drains causes flooding and water pollution. Using too much fertilizer releases harmful chemicals into our air and runs off lawns, eventually reaching our rivers and streams. Healthy lawn care habits protect your family, our community, and the environment. Healthy yards for healthy communities.
Good evening. Can everybody hear me out there? Yep. Broadcast audio is good, I hope, after the Planning Commission mishap. We're going to call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Saper,
Here.
Councilmember Bailey,
Here.
Councilmember McGrone,
Here.
Councilmember Fitzgerald,
Here.
Councilmember Alvarez,
Here.
Councilmember Clark,
Here.
Councilmember Salinas,
Here.
Councilmember Click.
Here.
Excellent. Despite it not being on the agenda, we're opening for public comments. If anyone would like to make a public comment, please approach the podium, state your name and address, and limit your comment to 5 minutes, please.
Erie Street. I'm here specifically about the appointment of Jessica Loya, but I got a couple things. First of all, you guys are probably going to catch some flack for having this thing at 5 p.m. And the fact that there was no published public comments in the agenda. I've only spoken to a few people, but nobody really liked that, so just be aware. Secondly, I'm here to speak out in opposition to appointing Jessica Loya to the new committee, the rebranded committee. A lot of different reasons for that. I had some rather unpleasant experiences with Jessica early on in the EIC. I found her to be very, very radical in her thinking. She was extremely antagonistic if you disagree with her. I've heard from people that were on the committee at the time that she liked to disrupt things. I don't personally have anything against that, but I'm thinking since you guys, one of the things I was thinking about is you're kind of playing a little loose with renaming this committee, trying to get the same things done, but just changing the name to kind of avoid this federal involvement. I mean, that's a little tricky. You want to be careful with that. And I'm telling you, if you put her on that committee and she starts stirring things up, you're going to get some unwanted attention to that committee. I've heard good things that the committee's trying to maybe redirect themselves into some things that would be beneficial, I think, to the community, community involvement, community enrichment, whatever that entails. But I would just like you to be very cautious about who you appoint to that committee because you want the committee to do some good work, but I don't necessarily think you want somebody on there that's going to draw a lot of attention to it as you're kind of trying to keep it under the radar a little bit. So having said all of that, I just hope you would think long and hard about that committee and what you really are trying to get done and be very, very careful who you appoint. And again, I would oppose having her on there. I could go into a lot of reasons. I'm not going to bore you with all of the reasons, but a lot of the reasons are why I'm up here. So I just wanted you to know that I would oppose that appointment. Thanks.
Thank you. Further public comments? Good evening. Hold them. Yeah.
Down a little bit. Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Okay. Hi, my name is Peggy Staver, and I live at 3000 House Street, and I'm a member of the Community Enrichment Advisory Committee, and I was appointed in June of this year. Let me take that down just a tiny bit. During that time, I have met with other members of the committee several times for work sessions in the North Kansas City Library. It is my understanding that work sessions are not open to the public and are intended for the committee to discuss the projects they are working on. At the last work session held August 9th at 10 o'clock in the library, Jessica Loya and her daughter were in attendance. They were already in the room when I arrived. To the best of my knowledge, they were not invited. I was told by another member of the committee that they just showed up. The committee had hoped to discuss our name change and finalize what we decided on prior to the next city council meeting. Jessica talked for most of the meeting, attempting to get us to leave the name as it was. She was not there to listen to our reasons for changing it. Members of a committee need to work together and have open discussions. They need to listen to each other, not monopolize the meeting. For these reasons and the feedback I have received from Rita Pierce at the Northland Assistance Center, I do not believe that Jessica Loya is a good fit for the CEAC. Thank you.
Thank you. Further public comments? I also have a couple of emails from folks who could not make it but wanted them read into the record. First one says, "My name is Rita D. Pierce. I live at 2117 Erie Street. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. I am unable to attend this special council meeting tonight. I'm volunteering at the North Kansas City Business Council event at Chicken and Pickle, which will benefit the newly formed North Kansas City Police Department Foundation. I strongly object to agenda items 3 and 4 being considered at this meeting for the following reasons. 1, lack of notice to the community. The agenda was set less than 2 weeks ago. 2, although the agenda has been amended either yesterday or today, the original agenda did not allow for public comment. 3, this meeting was set for 5 p.m. It seems like an unusual start time to meet and expect working people to attend. I respectfully propose items 3 and 4 be tabled and added to the regular agenda for the September 21st regularly scheduled meeting. Thank you for your time and consideration." For anyone watching, that meeting will be on the 23rd, just to not add confusion. That concluded the comment. Second comment from, it says, "Good evening from Martin Newton, 406 31st Avenue. My position and thoughts on the matter of Jess Loya's nomination/appointment to the CEAC. I do not personally know Jess Loya. Ms. Loya has come before our organization several times in the past, and I am also aware of her coming before the council. What I can say, though, is that there have been made aware of several caustic interactions between members of the CEAC and also other municipal organizations to the degree that it is at very least concerning. My suggestion is to allow the newly formed CEAC to come together for the September 11th scheduled meeting so that those members can discuss the issue. I am also aware of the fact that as an at-large member appointed by a former mayor, my personal involvement may be at the least questioned as to how much weight my opinion holds. At the end of the day, we all seem to be passionate about wanting to get involved and determine what will be best going forward for our entire community, and for myself, that should be the driving factor." Any further public comments? Seeing none, move on to item 3.
Appointment of the City Council Liaison to the Community Enrichment Advisory Committee.
Okay, I will kick this over to Councilmember Clark, who asked for a reconsideration on this one.
So I talked to, let me back up. When we were voting, it was my assumption that, yes, the mayor could reappoint, whoever he wished with committee members that already existed would stay. I didn't realize how many people had left or were planning to leave from the CEAC. So I knew, honing in on Councilmember Click being appointed, I felt like, Councilmember Saper wasn't against that. I think what we were honed in on was he wanted to make sure to make the next appointment. Since that wasn't arranged on our agenda, we didn't focus on that piece. So I just let that be. But with more information, knowing kind of how the decision came along, and talking to some of the committee members, I just feel like I got more information behind the scenes to say, I don't believe Councilmember Saper got a fair shake. And I want us to reconsider whether he wants the liaison position or not. But I do know that I wanted to push for he has the absolute authority to recommend the next seat, because it was his seat it was his appointee that has now left. So that was the piece that I definitely was honing in on. But I do want to open up discussion, and it's not against either of you, right? It's not in because I don't want Councilmember Click or I don't want Councilmember Saper. I would just open it up, and I'm sorry you had to go through the process that existed, and I feel like we missed some steps, and I was thankful that we could kind of retract. We can make a motion to reconsider, and that's the process, right? We're trying to do our best. And so I wanted to open it up to say, if you want to be considered for liaison, let's explore that. If you want, Councilmember Click to be a liaison, I think just open that up to explore it so it doesn't have to feel so pointed in one direction.
Councilmember Saper.
First of all, I want to thank everybody who encouraged me to continue to serve in the new committee, the new CEAC. But it's just that, a new committee. And I think it's time for a new person to serve in that role as council liaison. And I think Councilmember Click will be not only good, a superb in that role. And she'll continue some of the traditions of the committee it replaced, as well as deal with some of the new things it will be taking up. And I propose her for council liaison to the CEAC.
Further discussion? For my part, I would like to say I apologize for focusing on the negative, and I put it in an email, I published it out, but I do want to say that you have shown up and you've been active as a member and a liaison, and you've shown up to events. You were at the March in the Monsoon, I'd like to call it, for Pride, and thank you for all of that. Like, I know where your heart's at on this, and I hope that you stay involved, stay active with them.
I will.
Help. Very good. Okay, any further council comments on this one? Sounds like council.
So since I moved for reconsideration, I guess we can just leave it because I'm not rescinding a vote. So we just leave it as is. Yeah, the yeses still have it.
Yep.
Is there a need for a revote? Okay.
So Councilmember Click is the current liaison, and we can leave it as such.
Okay. I just wanted to extend that respect and just for the community to know kind of where my head was in the vote is that I finally said we're honing in on an appointment, but we'll discuss this other matter separately because it was separate from what was listed on the agenda, which is who gets to appoint next. And that's what, obviously item number 4 is.
Yep. Excellent. Okay, moving on to item 4.
Appointment of Jessica Loya to the Community Enrichment Advisory Committee by Councilmember Saper, term to expire on December 31st, 2026.
For this one, Councilmember Saper pointing out that the person he appointed had been the one to resign. His nomination was sent to the clerk in a timely manner and lands on an agenda for discussion. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Saper.
I'll give you some of the reasons why I appointed her. She's passionate, no question about that. But in the previous, when she first served on the first iteration of the previous committee, she passionately put forward her positions. But as she talked to people at that time, as I remember it, she did work with other people, and when decisions went other than her way, she would continue to work, maybe grumble, but continue to work together. And I felt that continuing some of the heritage of the previous committee on the new one was something important. I'm not speaking to the mic. Hello, Mike. No, so those were some of the reasons why I appointed her to the committee. And we've talked, and I think that she would throttle back a bit because some of the things that she posts online, when anybody posts online, they're really talking to themselves because they have no one to interact with. But as serving as a committee member, you're interacting with others at all times. And that makes for a different kind of conversation and a different kind of, I think, attitude. Again, those are some of the reasons why I appointed her.
Further comments? Councilmember Clark.
It's always bizarre, right, to talk about our community members, but I mean, we're on council. We understand being talked about in front of our face, behind our backs. What I do respect about Jessica Loya is that we can disagree. She can even be aggressive in her approach. But I will say, even this time around, I mean, I've watched her and going through interactions where people just simply look at her in ways where she doesn't feel welcome. She does try to speak for, people that aren't represented well. And sure, she can have a bite to her, absolutely. But what I will say this time around is I respect that she went with the approach of she had receipts for everything that she spoke about. She had video footage. She did the work to put it together. It wasn't just an impassioned, emotional response to something. It was very rooted in her own belief and also just process, really pushing for process. And I appreciate that, to kind of hold us accountable. I did speak with a previous liaison to the committee who said, yes, you know, they can have very strong feelings in a specific direction, and let's not beat around the bush that she's walking through life with a completely different experience than most anyone on this council. So we can't understand walking in her shoes in the daily, and to say, you got to say that we know we can mess up, and we can lean on a bit of privilege, whether we like it or not, to kind of go, okay, we can come back and reassess. If she messes up, it is going to be blasted. It is going to be completely amplified. There's a level of discomfort we can feel with people that might be different from us, that might express their beliefs or their emotions differently than us. But I feel like this time around, she really was trying to really stick to process and really stick to the goal that's in mind. And she wants to see this committee thrive. The lesson that can be learned, that I've heard from the direction of previous liaisons, is that if you're direct with her, that's the best approach. There's no tiptoeing or beating around the bush. It's trying to be very direct, and I think she responds well to that. She has, in my experience, responded well to that this time around. I mean, she definitely, I don't know if everybody else got, hit with messages or things like that, but if you sort through what she's trying to get across, all of it's rooted in, I want there to be positive change. I want to hold everyone accountable. I want our community to hold itself accountable to these values that we're saying that we live by. And for that piece, I feel like I do support her joining the committee, and in talking to other members, I realize there's like the risk, and if she did, when I think about the moment at the library, what comes to mind is that was a very distinct moment where she felt like, did we do everything we could to do the background research to make sure that this is the step we have to take? And you kind of want someone that wants to fight at that level, to say, I'm gonna try every possible thing and uncover every possibility that we don't have to go this route. And she didn't come and blowtorch the place. She just said, I gave it my all. And she can go home at night and be like, I gave it my all. And I want that person on my side, I want that person in my community, because she can keep us in check. She can call things to attention. And I think she does well if it's like, hey, you're honing in, you're making this person the enemy, just call her out on that. She's okay to be checked in that way. I believe she is. I've experienced that with her this time around. That maybe wasn't the case, a few years ago as strongly, but yeah, I'm in support for those reasons.
Councilmember McGrone.
I don't have much to say other than I agree 100% with what Councilmember Clark just said. 100%. My own personal interactions with Jess and Quinn are very, very warm and respectful and informative. And I get that she can be abrasive. I get that she can be challenging. I get that she can be loud. I get that she can be passionate. But again, those are the people that you do want on your side. We're not all like that. And community enrichment is for all members of the community, including sometimes voices that feel harsher to us or feel different from us or feel louder than ours or softer than ours. And I don't think every single person on that committee should agree about everything. I think we need people who come at it from a different angle and provide a different perspective that might be missing or might have an opportunity to get a voice in a place where those voices are needed. So I would support Jess on the committee as well.
Councilmember Click.
Similarly, I kind of heard different things coming from different people from all different directions, and I respect all of those perspectives 100%. But being new here, not having a ton of prior experience with really anybody, I'm getting to know everyone. I had coffee with Jess. I think that she, again, like everyone has said, really wants to fight for things to be better. And I think that's what we need. Again, similar, the point in my mind is to have the different voices, is to have the different perspectives, and I will now be there. I will be a part of it, and I'm excited to be a part of it, and I hope that we can all figure out how to work together and get to know each other, and get to know how everybody communicates, get to know everyone's goals, and hopefully just kind of mesh and be a team, and not be against one another, which it sounds like may have been part of the experience in the past. And I hope that that isn't the case, but I also don't want to base this decision on opinions and hearsay from other people, again, as valuable as they are. I spoke with Jess. I think she has great ideas, and great perspective, and I hope that we can all work together as a team. So.
Further comments? Councilmember Alvarez.
Mine is kind of more in a question. I don't know her. I've never met her, had any interaction with her, so I really can't give an opinion one way or the other. But my question is, I believe, was she on the committee previously at one time and then she resigned, or was her term up, or how did that?
I don't want to say this incorrectly. I believe she was one of the original members and then was not reappointed at the time her term expired. Yeah.
I was just curious if there was a reason that she was no longer on it or took a step away, or I didn't know. Okay.
I don't have that reason because the person who non-appointed her is not here. Further comments? Councilmember Salinas.
I'm trying to leave my feelings aside, but I'm here to represent my ward and my residents. So they don't think she's a good fit. I don't think she's a good fit either. I don't think she can compromise. She won't reason very well. I think she's a troublemaker. And I think that we should, reconsider. I don't think she's a good fit.
Further comments? Councilmember Click.
Yeah, I just want to make one more point that I kind of forgot to say is she's engaging, like she's here and wanting to be a part and wanting to participate, and no one else is currently at this time. And I know, or I suspect Ward 1 will have another appointment coming up here in the next few months as well. So that's the other thing. I want the committee to be successful, and part of that is having people on it. So I think that's an important factor too.
Councilmember Salinas.
I do think she has a lot of great traits. I do think. But in this case, I think the bad outweigh the good in her case.
Any other conversation, or do we have a motion?
I move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
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 Opposed?
No.
Motion passes. Item 5.
Consideration of a request to hold and recess into an executive session as requested by the Deputy City Administrator to be held on this date on a real estate matter pursuant to Missouri Revised Statute, Section 610.0212.
So move.
Second.
Call the roll.
Councilmember Saper?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember McGrone?
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Councilmember Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Salinas,
Yes.
Councilmember Click.
Yes.
At this time, the live stream and Channel 2 will cut off for all you folks watching. There will be no further votes or business this evening. Thank you for tuning in.